Powered by the Las Vegas Review-Journal, this is Vegas Nation Blitz. Presented by D&R House of Diamonds, making luxury affordable. Located in the One Summerlin building in downtown Summerlin.
Happy holidays, everyone. Cassie Soto here with you for this week's episode of Vegas Nation Blitz, where we bring you all of your Raiders fast takes and smart coverage. Unfortunately, we are talking about a Raiders loss this week after the offense just came out flat versus the Washington football team on Sunday at Allegiant Stadium. The Raiders drop this Week 13 matchup 17-15 and fall to 6-6 on the season. Let's go ahead and break down what went wrong for the Silver and Black in this one by getting to our top stories, brought to you by Capriotti's. There's no better time than game time to score party favorites. Order online to get Capriotti's party trays, boxed lunches, or large subs for the whole crew.
Touchdowns. It's very frustrating. Field goals, they're not going to win you games. You got to get touchdowns, especially the teams that we have coming up playing. We're going to need touchdowns in order to win those games. So very frustrating, especially with how close some of those plays were.
Raiders beat writer Vinny Bonsignore joining me now. Vinny, that was Raiders quarterback Derek Carr stating the obvious that field goals will not win you very many games, and we saw that to be the case on Sunday. The Raiders' first touchdown not coming until the fourth quarter of this game. Slow starts have been a huge issue for this team all season long. Why?
Well, the why is the key to it all. And I don't know if anyone has an answer to that, but we can certainly look at some numbers that are fairly sobering for the Raiders. Derek Carr's quarterback rating is 83 in the first quarter. That's by far his worst quarter of the year. The Raiders have 24 first downs in the first quarter this year. That's down by almost 20 to the second and third quarters, and fourth quarters, and by about 12-13 from the third quarter. They're scoring their fewest points in the first quarters. They've been outscored 72-42 in the first quarter. So everything the time of possession is way down in the first quarter compared to other quarters. So for whatever reason, and there hasn't been any kind of a valid explanation, and we've asked a million times and a million different people what the problem is, and I don't think that anyone can really put their finger on it. If I were to baseline it somehow, some way, I just think that the Raiders' inability to run the ball successfully and set that as a foundation has really disrupted their offensive operation, and especially early on. Think about the Washington football team. They break off a 22-yard run to start the game on their first drive, and that was the foundation for the rest of the draft, the rest of that drive, because the Raiders had to pay attention to the run game, and it opened things up downfield. Washington took advantage of it, scored easily. The Raiders haven't had a chance to do that all year, so I think a lot of it does start with the lack of a run game.
Well, on top of an ugly loss and all of the notes that you just mentioned, Vinny, the Raiders will likely be without running back KENYAN Drake for the rest of the season. His ankle was broken in Sunday's game. But what made headlines, Vinny, was what happened after the game. KENYAN Drake took to Twitter and basically called out the NFL for the type of tackle that was involved in this injury. Can you sort of just take us through that? And does KENYAN Drake have a point when he's talking about player safety?
I think he does. It was a borderline. It wasn't a horse tackle or a horse collar, but it's kind of along those lines. And then if you look, it looks like the defensive player kind of puts part of his body, might have been his leg, behind KENYAN's legs, and that kind of, as he's going backwards and it's tripping over the defender, that's what kind of caused the break really of the ankle. So between that and some of the over ways that they protect quarterbacks, that kind of changes things up too. There's some things that football really needs to look at in terms of some of these rules that they're calling, the interpretations, the wording, how they're asking referees to do it, whether or not maybe you need somebody up in the booth to kind of check in on a little bit more often on some of these calls, because it's getting out of hand. And to the original point, there is something that the NFL should be looking at is that type of tackle, because it leads to injuries.
Well, at the end of the day, Vinny, the Raiders are now 6-6. Again, it feels like we've been here before. I'm asking you to look into your crystal ball. Are we seeing another season where the Raiders miss the playoffs?
It's, they're not out of it. I think that they have to get to 10 or 11 wins. 11 wins means winning out. It's a team that just lost 4 of their last 5. Are they going to be able to completely turn it around to win 5 straight, that seems a little bit dubious. On the other hand, to get to 10, now they got to win 4 out of the next 5. And we mentioned what they did in their last 5. How realistic is that? It doesn't really seem likely. But, as long as you have breath, you have to think positive and you have to play for that goal and objective. And that's what the Raiders will do. But it's not looking good. A lot of things are trending in the wrong direction. And it'll be interesting if it goes in that direction. What exactly happens to this organization from coach, general manager, quarterback, whatever? There's going to be a lot of questions that need serious, focus and looking at from ownership if it is to go sideways like it has the last 2 years.
Around the League, brought to you by Pirate Plumbing, the masters of disasters. Hey everyone, it's Heidi Fang here, and I'm joined, as always, with my partner here, Adam Hill, the NFL and Raiders writer. We're going to break down what's happening here with the AFC playoff standings. Right now, Adam, the picture right at the top, all the division leaders. You see the Patriots after a strong finish with the Bills. What do you make about this right now in the playoff picture?
Yeah, I mean, there still is not a whole lot of clarity. I think it's the same thing pretty much every week, that nobody is separating themselves. And you look right to the top seed. There's only one bye. So the chase for the 1 seed, all the division leaders are 8-4, except for New England, who's 9-4 because they haven't had a bye yet. So if the other 3 division winners win this week, then all 4 of them will be 9-4 in that chase for the 1 seed. And it's not much clearer in the wild card picture. And by the way, the top of the division is only 1 game ahead of all those wild card teams. So nothing's determined yet. Nothing is settled yet. Every single team has the same task, and that's just to win as many games as they can down the stretch and see how it sorts itself out there.
Which one of these teams has the toughest matchup in the week ahead?
But I'm going to go with, of all the teams in that playoff picture that have the toughest matchup, you look at the team that played on Monday night. Buffalo has had about the easiest schedule over the last month and a half, and they've completely fallen on their face. Now they enter that really tough part of the schedule. They played the Patriots. They've got the Patriots again in a couple weeks. But this week they go on the road and play Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That is a tough matchup for a Bills team that looked like they could be in contention for a 1 seed. Now all of a sudden they're fighting for their playoff lives.
Especially when you only see 3 passes out of Mac Jones in a game and the Bills lose. But great stuff as always, Adam. Thank you.
Vegas Nation Injury Brief, sponsored by Knockfee Injury Law.
Sam Gordon here, back with the injury brief, and it's not so brief today because the Raiders are dealing with a lot of injuries. Let's start with the obvious: KENYAN Drake on injured reserve. No surprise there with the ankle injury. Also joining him on injured reserve is linebacker Nick Kwiatkowski. Coach Rich Bisaccia announcing Wednesday that he'll miss at least 3 games. A number of Raiders also did not practice on Wednesday. A number of key Raiders, including star tight end Darren Waller, linebacker Denzel Perryman, defensive end Carl Nassib, and defensive tackle Quentin Jefferson. The Raiders also made a transaction because of some of their depth at linebacker, signing fan favorite Will Compton, and he made his debut at practice on Wednesday wearing his number 57 jersey. For more updates, injury updates, news, analysis, podcasts, videos, the whole 9 yards, visit VegasNation.com, as we will have updates on more injuries throughout the course of the week. I'm Sam Gordon. That was the injury brief.
DNR House of Diamonds is Las Vegas's elite private office jeweler, the perfect bridge between internet pricing and a traditional brick-and-mortar jewelry store. We specialize in loose diamonds, natural and lab-grown, engagement rings, fashion jewelry, custom design, and jewelry repairs. We operate by appointment in our beautiful offices in the One Summerlin building, downtown Summerlin. Our great relationships with the world's largest diamond wholesalers and our low overhead saves you hundreds, if not thousands, on your purchase.
Mic check.
It's very frustrating. It's definitely very frustrating, really annoying, really just starting slow every week. I feel like and taking too long to be who we are. It's definitely frustrating, and I kind of voiced that a little bit today. I just come to the offensive line and to the receivers and tell them we gotta be who we are, or who we think we are. And we got to have some juice and some energy and some type of swag to us. I feel like we come in just stiff and dull in games sometimes.
The win and the loss is the only thing that matters. And, we can have as much individual success. It really does not matter. Maybe I should try to have 10 yards if it means we win. To me, it doesn't matter if I have 4 fumbles or, how many ever catches. If we don't get the win, that's all that matters.
Raider Nation, it is now time to take our weekly look into the world of social media.
Raiders on injured reserve. Fullback Alec Ingold showing his support for running back KENYAN Drake after his injury on Sunday. Drake saying rehab doesn't stand a chance. Looks like spirits are high. Raider Nation wishes them both a speedy recovery. And tight end Darren Waller has been nominated for this year's Walter Payton Man of the Year Award.
You look at maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I was probably the last person that would even be considered for that role. So, I do find gratitude, and it allows me to reflect and see, how far I've come and how much I've changed, from the inside out.
The honor is given to NFL players for outstanding community service activities off the field and excellence on the field. The winner from the field of 32 will be announced a few days before the Super Bowl, but each nominee will receive a donation of up to $40,000 in their name to their charity of choice.
Vegas Nation, the road ahead, sponsored by your Southern Nevada Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Cassie Soto. He's Ed Graney, and that was Raiders wide receiver Hunter Renfrow meeting with his former head coach in Dabo Swinney on the sidelines of Sunday's game before they kick things off versus the Washington football team. Ed, when I tweeted out that video, the rumor mill immediately started spinning. It took off. I believe our colleague Adam Hill posted a picture of Dabo and Raiders owner Mark Davis chalking it up before the game started. What do you make of this situation?
I make that Adam Hill was no way going to allow you to get away with only having the one tweet about Dabo Swinney. Look, Dabo Swinney was here. He's the Clemson head coach. He's won 2 national titles. Very big name in the business. He was here for a Hall of Fame gala and also to watch a lot of his former players play. I mean, I think the Raiders have 42 of them, or 3 or 4. We're not sure which ones. But anytime now, until the Raiders hire a new coach, anytime Mark Davis is seen talking, standing by, anyone that might be a possible candidate, Twitter is going to explode. I don't think Dabo Swinney was in town for an interview or to talk about the job, but if you ask me a month or 2 from now, someone calls Dabo Swinney just to gauge interest, I also wouldn't be shocked at that either.
Well, Dabo or not, we know that this team will be in need of a new head coach once the season is over. What sort of leader do you think needs to come into this building to help turn things around?
You know what? And supposedly, a lot of people thought Gruden was this, but I really think they need to do their best to, like colleges have done at SC and at LSU and other places, they need to hit a home run. I really think you need to try to do that. It is possible to hit a home run with a big name and still get a really good coach. If you want to say Dabo Swinney is one of those guys. I put out there Mike Tomlin. I know that's crazy to most people. Maybe it's crazy to me. Is his time in Pittsburgh run out? Pete Carroll. People say his time in Seattle's run out. Tony Dungy. Would he ever come back? I think they need to go after a big name, a guy who can also coach. And if you don't get him, then you can go down to your coordinators and your other people that you might interest. But I think it needs someone who really will make a big splash, much like Lincoln Riley did at SC, Brian Kelly did at LSU. It can be done. I hope they go that way. Those guys are not easy to get, but why not try it, Cassie? Why not try to hit a home run and not only win the press conference, which I don't think is the only thing you need to do, win the press conference and also get a guy who can actually coach.
That's a wrap for this week's episode of Vegas Nation Blitz. Please head on over to vegasnation.com for more Raiders coverage throughout the week. And please join us on Friday for Vegas Nation Game Day as we preview the Raiders' next matchup, a road trip to Kansas City to take on the AFC West rival Chiefs on Sunday. For our entire Vegas Nation crew, I'm Cassie Soto. We'll see you soon. Join the action with the Las Vegas Review-Journal's Pro Football Contest. Predict each week's winning team for a chance to win a $25 gift card from presenting sponsor Capriotti's or a $30 gift card from Big Dogs Brewing Company. Sign up today at lvrj.com/pro football.
Powered by the Las Vegas Review-Journal, this is Vegas Nation Blitz. Presented by D&R House of Diamonds, making luxury affordable. Located in the One Summerlin building in downtown Summerlin.